When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish,
the podcast that Stevie Wonder calls the weirdest TV show ever.
Oh my God, you said Stevie Wonder and I immediately panicked. Like, oh God, where's this going?
Are you okay now?
I'm great. Yeah, I'm Mike
Cool.
Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
And we're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today we're
going to talk chosen family.
we're going to talk about chosen family.
It's the family you choose.
Which is way different than frozen family.
You got to let them go.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless they've been cryogenically frozen because you plan on having the cure to their weird disease someday in the future.
But then they'll be all Han Solo.
Yeah, exactly.
But first,
yeah. So I just wanted to briefly touch on the fact that we are recording remotely today, and we are talking about how to return safely to in-person recording, but we're taking this very seriously, and we're listening to the experts and our governments, and we're going to keep trying to do that. There was some controversy about it on the Facebook group that was pretty awesome. But like, yeah, this is who we are. This is what we're doing.
We're wearing masks and listening to scientists, so
we're dirty liberals. Other feedback or corrections?
Not from me.
Great. There has been a lack of corrections lately, which I'm just taking as a compliment.
Or people are just like, yeah, I get it. Like, yeah, you know.
They already know what we're not going to care about.
Yeah.
Great. News time?
Yeah, news time.
Here come the news.
Here come the news. It come on my ears. Here comes the news. It's for all of us to hears.
I don't
Best
know.
news song ever? You tell me.
Oh, God. Okay, great. First, right out of the bat, so apparently John Cleese is Team J.K. Rowling, and I'm real sad about it.
What?
Yeah, John Cleese, who I thought was hilarious and smart and fun and funny and interesting and cool, is just lately been going on a Twitter rampage, including this morning, defending J.K. Rowling and her transphobic views.
Well, fart, Mike.
Yeah, fart indeed. I don't know. I mean, he is 81, so maybe it's not that surprising. 81-year-old white straight dude. Cis white straight dude. But yeah, in a tweet just this morning, he said that deep down he identifies as a Cambodian policewoman. Is that allowed, or am I being unrealistic?
I've been thinking about this maybe like a lot today and yesterday for some reason, and it's like, if people say that, you know, in their shitty transphobic way, maybe we just say, okay, cool, we're going to update your nationality to Cambodian. We're going to change your birth certificate to woman.
Yeah, great.
Now, or like people identify as a skateboard. Okay, cool. You're now listed as a skateboard. You can't vote. You don't have any rights. Like, cool, done.
Yeah, I'm going to sell you at a yard sale because my kid doesn't ride you anymore. Yeah.
Oh, my God. That sounds like me in college.
I'm with you. I think there's a little bit of like when somebody's like that, I just want them to fucking suffer consequences. So
yeah,
that doesn't appease that part of me very much. But I agree that
but nothing will.
Just roll with it. And then there's also the Rachel Dolezals of the I feel black folks. And then there's that one dude in that one country, I forget where it was, when he said that he identifies as a younger person. And
oh, yeah. Yeah. Like a severely misunderstanding of like time and nationality and just a lot of core concepts that really just whooshed over their heads.
Physics, gynecology, or obstetrics.
He was Dutch.
He was Dutch.
The Dutch.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, don't piss off the Dutch, Kyle.
Oh, no?
No.
Okay. We love all of you but you.
Yeah. Anyway, John Cleese of Monty Python fame is apparently he's not a TERF because he's not an F, I don't think, but he's a different kind of F. So yeah, your mileage may vary. Next, so on Friday, just a couple of days ago, Donald Trump appointed judges reversed a ban on conversion therapy in Florida. They said that to ban conversion therapy in Florida was unconstitutional. Yeah, the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals sided with two therapists who sought to argue that bans in the city of Boca Raton and Palm Beach County violated their free speech rights. The judges voted 2-1 against conversion therapy, the conversion therapy ban. Both of the judges that voted against were Trump appointees, are members of the Conservative Federalist Society, which you might remember last week's news is the fucking asshole shitbag dickface group that Sam Alito talked to. And then, of course, the vote for the ban was an Obama appointed justice. Yeah, both people argued that they had, quote, sincerely held religious beliefs conflicting with homosexuality.
I have sincerely held beliefs that, like, people should be allowed to live. Like, where does that factor into this?
Yeah, and if I have a sincerely held religious belief that I have a 10-inch dick, does that make it, like, true? Do I get to change rulers so that...
Yeah. In case anyone doesn't know, like, we talk about conversion therapy, but it is a horrifying practice that, well, we should right now view it as barbaric, but in the future we'll look back and be like, remember how we used to lobotomize people? Like, that level of horrific, and people are very likely to kill themselves after. It does nothing to actually, the DSM already says that we can't change people's orientation. It's not effective. It's just the most, I keep thinking, like, man, I do need to start, like, a legalized murder campaign.
Yeah.
Because it's my free speech.
Yep. And like, maybe you should pick a religious group to say that you want to murder them, because then it's like extra religious. Like,
oh yeah. Find whatever group.
It's your Jesus versus their Jesus, and your Jesus is going to kill them.
My Jesus is better than your Jesus.
Oh God. Yeah. I also think that. Yeah, if people don't understand the horribleness of conversion therapy, they do things like strap you down and show you gay porn while they electrically shock you to create an aversion effect, or they will give you medication that makes you violently nauseous and vomit, all in an attempt for your body to somehow associate those bad things with the arousal that you feel from seeing gay porn. Then those are extreme kinds. Like, there are equally insidious kinds where they just try to talk you out of it, but I hate
myself without having gone through conversion therapy. So to add, like, a layer of, like, that level of direct, you are a terrible person is, yeah.
Yeah. And the American Academy of Pediatrics has warned against it as early as 1993. that the only impact is that it reinforces anxiety and shame. Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
News the last. So... I did not know this person existed, and I feel bad about that after reading about them, but extraordinary, trailblazing, and inspiring trans writer and historian Jan Morris has died at age 94. She died on Friday, and I heart Welsh people, and y'all, I can't say the names of the Welsh things, the Welsh places, but her son's name is TWM. There are no vowels. I don't know how to say that name, but her son Twim, sure, said,
yeah, you got to stick a vowel somewhere in there, and where do you do it to try to
Twim? Sorry, your mom's dead. Anyway, so she was born in 1926 and began her journalistic career writing at the Times, the London Times. In 1953, she climbed Mount Everest with the British expedition. She, let's see, She went to report on the Suez Crisis for The Guardian, made history when she provided the first irrefutable proof that France and Israel had colluded to invade Egyptian territory. But shit really started getting real in 1974 when she published her book Conundrum, in which she came out as trans. The book detailed her transition, became her first book to be published under her new name. And 1974, that was not a really like trans aware, much less friendly environment for the universe. But yeah, she married her wife Elizabeth in 1949 before she transitioned. The couple remained together after Morris came out as a trans woman. Yeah, I mean, she's a super pioneer, especially in trans rights, but like already would have been had she been cisgender. Her journalistic accomplishments are phenomenal. She's a major figure in the trans community, and sorry to hear of her passing.
Can I tell you how stupid I think it is to climb Mount Everest?
Yeah.
I think it's stupid.
Okay. Yeah. So, like, there was a dude that tried to climb Mount Rainier here a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, not too long ago, and he almost fucking died. And they showed these clips of him in the hospital saying, like, how grateful he is that there are all of these emergency workers. And I'm like, they had to because you're an idiot. Like, why are you climbing Mount Rainier by yourself in November, you fucking weirdo?
Yeah. Maybe we could like hold off on climbing shit right now while the emergency workers are spending a lot of time doing other important things. Just an idea. Throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Whom am I to judge? Well, apparently I'm Kyle because I'm doing it. But anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, but unrelated.
Yeah, I agree. The whole like, hey, there it is. Let's climb it. Why, God, why? Like a teenage boy.
Yeah.
All right. That's the news.
Then I'm going to tell you about some of our gatrons. Thank you to the members that support us.
We're going to do like a PBS phone-a-thon or something.
You too could support Gayish if you go to your local Kroger.
Oh, we need tote bags, Kyle. We need tote bags so we can send them to our PBS listeners.
Thank you to Gatrons Aaron Foley, Raymond Myers-Kieran, which you're just adding names so that I have to say more names. I don't believe that. Edward Wilson, Stuart Brotherhood, which that's not your real last name. And
I know that.
My name. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a fraternity guy? That would make sense.
No, Canadian, which is basically a frat guy that's more polite.
And all one word. My name is SP. So I'm not sure whether to say that or whether just to say SP. You've really got me in a pickle right there. So,
or is it my name is Sp?
Oh yes, thank you Sp for that. They must be Welsh because there's no vowels in Sp. Thank you to everyone. If you want to become a patron, go to patreon.com/gayishpodcast.
Yeah, do it. It's fun.
It's so much fun. Do you want to talk about chosen families?
Yeah, let's talk about chosen families. So, I forget how long it's been since I heard that phrase. It was definitely after I came out because I remember hearing that phrase, chosen family, and it being like, I started crying and I didn't know why because it's such a like cool, impactful concept, which you're going to define for us right now, just like we planned it.
Presently, yes. No, why was it so cool and impactful?
I mean, I think for the reasons that you're likely to explain in just a moment,
cool.
it really, while being heartwarming and awesome, there's a melancholy aspect to it of like gay people choose families because their original one is fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's the exact definition I have. So I'm glad you got that. Yeah, I just like poked around a little bit. We're gonna have guests on, our friends from Minority Report.
They're a handful. It's gonna be fun.
Yes. But before that, I just looked up a little bit of info. Chosen family is the idea of instead of your family of origin, which is your biological family, chosen family is the family that you create from friends or whomever you really want. And some of the things one thing that stood out as I was just kind of looking up some basics about this, like I always assume it's because you got kicked out by your biological family. But another reason chosen family is important to LGBT people is because historically they hadn't been able to get married or have kids.
Yeah.
It's harder to create a family unit. And there were in our societal restrictions on that, or, you know, through the AIDS crisis, their friends might have died. Like there are other reasons that can contribute to, you know, why chosen families are important to us.
Yeah.
But I was trying to figure out, I think of chosen families as coming from, you know, ball culture and everything. And so when I was looking that up in an article, I got a lot of info and stats from Why Queer People Need Chosen Families by Kyle Casey Chu on Vice from 2017. And apparently the drag balls began in 1869.
Drag balls?
Did you know that? Yeah.
I mean, it's not about drag balls, man. That just like
Sloppy balls.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're big fatty and they're at your knees. Go ahead.
But okay, I didn't know that they were that early. I just I don't know. But,
You're right. That seems super duper early.
Yeah. So Harlem's Hamilton Lodge is what is credited as being the first one in 1869. There's lots of other info, but the one I liked best was by the 1920s, they were dubbed as faggots balls. Oh, God. Which I really like. I mean, not in a nice way, but I really like that now as we're, and some of the reasons that chosen family is important, because this is data from a variety of sources, but that were mentioned in the article, mostly from the 2010s-ish. About 2/3 of LGBTQ baby boomers say they have a chosen family. 39% of LGBTQ adults have faced rejection by family or friends. And of the homeless youth out there, 40% are queer. So these are concepts that I think are lessening, like as we, create the ability to get married and, can have kids now, or are allowed to adopt and everything, and are less likely to be thrown out than we used to be. But there still is that need to have your chosen family. That is not evaporated. I think some people may mistake a growing acceptance with total acceptance. I think some people think like, oh, we're done. Everyone accepts gay people now. And that's not the case. And chosen families are still important.
Yeah.
And then also, according to the Wikipedia article, LGBT people, I mean, they're the main ones you think about when you talk about chosen family, but apparently other groups that use that, sex positive BDSM communities, veterans, communities overcoming physical or substance abuse, or friend groups who have little to no contact with their biological parents. So I like the idea. I feel like this comes up often. There are words or phrases that the concept starts with LGBT people, but when you when you think about it, it can expand far beyond just us. Like, just because that was an important need and grew from us, there are plenty of other people that get kicked out of their home or have the need to form cohesive units outside of that. So not the same, but it's something that other people could relate to.
Yeah, straight people, awful shit happens to you too, and you can use our coping strategies to get you through it.
We've been dealing with awful shit since the world started. So one other thing I'll mention, because it's both Canadian and lesbian, two demographics we really are trying to grow in 2021.
Yeah.
I just decided. Chosen Family is a Canadian comic strip written and drawn by a Winnipeg cartoonist, Noreen Stevens. She drew the comic strip, it started in 1987, which I always think that's interesting when things enter the popular zeitgeist of like, so clearly that name was around before then, but whenever it gets to the name of a song or a book or, something big, then it's like a staple in society. So that was 1987. It ended in 2004. Thanks, Les. There you go, lesbians. That's the one mention you get every 5 episodes.
Well, now you have to listen to our show because you don't have that anymore.
We're the most lesbian thing available to you.
We're basically as good.
What else do you want to say about Chosen Family before our guests join?
It's super important, and I'm glad to have one. And I don't call you Chosen Family because then I'll stop calling you.
Great. Yeah, I think of our D&D group as our chosen family.
Yeah. yeah, they'll be happy to hear that too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Who said that? Did you just hear that voice?
Yeah, I did. Let's take a break and look for it. And
Let's take a break.
wait, when we come back, we're going to have Minority Report with us, and they're going to talk to us about chosen family as well. But
Yep.
So hold on to your butts, kids. Here we go.
Here we go.
Should we take a break?
Break.
Break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
Kyle,
Yes,
so are we back?
we're back.
We're back.
We are back, and we're here with our guests, the hosts of the podcast Minority Report. That is T spelled like tea, not tea,
Yes.
the beverage, not the letter.
There you go.
or the golf term. Yeah, could y'all introduce yourselves?
Not golf.
Yes, I'm Auntie Carell.
I'm Auntie Dewan.
And I'm Auntie Jarrell.
And we're your aunties. Yeah.
We could just jump into your show. Do y'all want to lead this?
I mean, don't get us started. We'll be here for 2 hours.
Oh my God. So true.
I'm tired. I could use a 45-minute break. We are going to talk about the idea of chosen family, which is important to LGBT people. And we are a chosen family here. We've brought some people and friends and family together. So we thought this was very fitting, especially right before Thanksgiving, when, in any normal year, some LGBT people can be excluded or don't have family they could go home to. And especially this year, hopefully everyone is not going home or doing anything.
Stay the fuck at home, people.
That part.
So
Wash your hands, wash your legs, wash your ass.
Say it a little louder for the people in the back.
So hopefully this can be a little bit of a family feeling for everyone this Thanksgiving. So
So it's going to be dysfunctional. This whole episode is what you're saying. This is going to be a mess.
I'm going to have to start drinking a lot more if this is going to be like my family.
Oh, man.
hold on, I dropped my mic.
Oh.
And the dysfunction begins now.
All right.
I'm your drunk aunt. Okay. Question for each of y'all. Do you have a chosen family? Do you have a group that you think of right away?
Totally.
I do. Definitely.
Tell us about them.
I'll go first because my chosen family, in part, is right here. My girls, we talk every single week, not only on a podcast, but just everything else that's going on in life. And it's just very therapeutic to have people that understand you and that you can talk really openly and freely about anything that's going on in life in general and about life in specific. And I don't know what I would do through this whole COVID situation, through this whole presidency situation, through this whole just being Black and a gay man and this society situation without the two that are sitting here on this call. It warms my heart to know that there are people that genuinely care about you and think about you and have your best interests at heart. And there's no pride of authorship or pride of anything. It's just real and authentic and 100% support.
You're about to make me cry.
Right.
I'm sorry.
And I'm not a crier. Auntie Carell is a crier. I'm not. I just get loud.
Napkin right here.
Well,
I don't cry, and I'm over here like,
that
ooh,
was
oh my
sweet.
God.
Okay, I have my checklist for the episode. Let's see if we can make them cry. Check. Great, we got that one.
Yeah, like I think Devon nailed it. Honestly, each week is the one thing I guess starting the podcast I didn't realize was how much we were going to share, and then just how much closer we were going to get through this journey. So literally the first thought were these two as well. And then also like I've been lucky throughout, I guess, my life. And then just even being out, I've moved quite a few times and been able to find, luckily, a chosen family in each, city that I've lived in that like I still text or FaceTime or whatever it may be. So luckily I haven't had too bad of a situation of trying to find people that I either relate to or want to hang out with,
go on vacays with, things like that. So I've definitely been lucky and blessed in that regard. But these two right here, I mean, they probably know more about me than I know about myself. So, so yeah.
Well, so for this chosen family, you all are geographically spread out, but did you start at one location together? Like, is that the nucleus
Those
here?
two did.
Well, Dewan and I did, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was in Minnesota and I met Corel in Chicago. I think it was your going away weekend. Like, you were just moving to Dallas when I first met you.
Yeah.
So he was on the way out the door.
Right.
And then
I met him 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
Right, pretty much. But like damn near. Like, it was probably like maybe 6 months before I left Chicago.
Yeah.
Dewan, like, so a bar that sponsored our indoor volleyball team sponsored 2 gay teams. I was on one and Dewan was on the other. And every Sunday after the volleyball league, we would go to Burke's Bar. I don't know if we're plugging their bar, but
Sure.
In Chicago. And over time, we're just like, okay, why is that team sitting over there? Why is this team sitting over here? Like, we're all gay and having a kiki out here. And loud. Exactly. And literally just start combining the tables each Sunday, doing fireball shots, getting shitty, flirting with boys, you know. And so that's how Dewan and I met in Chicago. And then literally I left Chicago and he left pretty shortly thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
So real quick, like, there are a lot of people that are feeling super disconnected and of course distant from their chosen family. But the fact that y'all have created this like, it started disconnected. Do you have any advice for people on how to be successful creating this kind of a bond, even though you're physically distant?
I mean, for me, I would say just like talk about everything and anything, you know, like if as soon as you make it where you are only talking to someone for specific reasons, then it's quickly to lose that bond. But if you can be like, oh, I'll wipe my ass with good tissue today, like at least that's a conversation and you're talking about something, you know, like
We had that conversation.
We did have that conversation too. So like, I mean, when I tell you, we talk about everything, but it just allows us to just make sure we're just naturally, you know, checking on each other, and it just keeps that the essence that we miss from being able to physically gather just kind of still feel a little bit there.
I agree. Just because, I mean, you got to want to take the time to do so. I think that's what it really ultimately comes down. Like, so far, at least, we ultimately want to take the time. Like, even if we didn't have the podcast, I'm sure we'd be like, you know what, girls, you want to hop on a Zoom real quick? Oh, you want to hop on a Skype real quick? Oh, yeah. I'm going to FaceTime you real quick, you know? So it's just like, you want to take the time. And like, I genuinely love these two guys. So I'm going to take the time to make sure they're doing okay, you know, and things like that. Even before we even hit record, we always joke that we literally have like an episode before the episode because we're checking in on each other to ensure that, okay, you seem like your energy's a little down in it. Like, literally, that's why before we hopped on this episode, I asked Dewan, I was like, how are you doing today, Dewan? Because I could literally tell his energy was like a little down for a second there, you know, and come to find out he had to work before this today. But so it's just like you genuinely care about people and you put the time in, you invest in it.
I will say it's hard though. Oh, go ahead, Boo.
Just real quick, I would say that it also starts with intention, because I think people make a lot of assumptions about what chosen family is supposed to be. And a lot of people focus on superficial bullshit. You know, like, oh, I want people to, you know, to go to Thanksgiving with so I can take bomb ass pictures for my IG. Like, that's not what it's about. It's at least what, in my view, what chosen family is. It's really about real connections, people that you vibe with, people that you can talk to about anything and everything, or even specific things. But do it in a way that's authentic, that feeds your soul, and you're feeding their soul. It's not just a one way, like, oh, what can I get from them? It's about, you know, whatever I have in my cup, I want it to spill over so you get some of it. You know what I mean?
Now,
and then I want to get
spilling over, Dewan.
I mean, I'd rather spray instead of spill, but you know.
Stop.
I was trying to give you my little Iyana moment, but
yes, I was here for it, Boo.
She just brought it all the way down to the dirt.
You know,
but no, I do think it belongs. I think people need to think about their intention, and I would also say don't force stuff. Don't try to force relationships. Don't try to force a crew, because we're in trying times as it is. But it takes openness on both sides for something real to really connect and for people to feel really gelled with one another. And so be mindful about what your intention is, and really go into it with an open heart, and just recognize that things take time to develop. And what were you going? I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Jarrell?
I forgot. I was listening. I was like, yeah, you give me the words, right?
You lost me at spray.
I was just thinking about how empty my cup is.
Ooh, okay.
Well, I can help you with that.
When we're talking about chosen family, I also think about, like, to me, there's something in the Black community that would need this even more, either because I think of Dragon Ball culture starting in the Black community, and I think of the homophobia involved in the Black community, that it could be more likely that you need other people. And I'm curious to get your reactions to that.
For me, I am very grateful to have the family that I do. It's me coming out was good. My grandma got everybody in line. She said, not my grandbaby, all y'all get in line. So I was lucky in that sense. But then, like, when it comes to, like, outside of my family, I did find, like, I struggle with my sense of belonging, because sometimes I was like, oh, you're too gay, like, oh, you're a fag, like, that's too, and then so it honestly took me moving to Seattle to actually find, which is odd to say because it's not a huge gay Black community in Seattle, but I guess moving somewhere where it was so scarce that I found myself really connecting to other gay Black men in Seattle. And, like, now I just feel even more proud to be. And I guess that's my new kind of chosen family that I have in Seattle, is they've really helped me connect along with my aunties here with me as a Black gay man. Like, I didn't feel that in the Midwest. So
that's interesting. Yeah. I think that's actually part of what the foundation of the show, our podcast is showing the spectrum that is being, honestly, just us three gay Black men, but queer people of color, because there are situations where it is harder for our communities to accept potentially the LGBTQIA plus community. Luckily, like, it's interesting. Like, I look at, like, my chosen family and, like, my friend group and things like that, and I've luckily been able to, I don't know if it was, like, intentional or anything like that, but have a pretty diverse group of people that like, I don't know, like, it's like one of those things, just like, I'm aware of the situations within the Black community of the hatred that can be within the LGBTQIA plus. But I've luckily been able to attract people that I really didn't get that too much. Even when I came out, and I'm a pastor's kid, a lot of the stuff that I almost made up in my head of the fear of what was about to happen, a lot of it didn't come to fruition. Like, I was like, oh my God, both my parents are pastors. What's the congregation going to say to them? They're going to leave the congregation. It's going to put them in, like, a situation of what they're going to say to me, because they've known me since I was a little kid, things like that. And come to find out, literally, they're, like, Facebooking my husband and things like that. And, and so it's just like, sometimes we build this thing up even within our community to not give ourselves the benefit of the doubt. And literally, they're just like, we are making sure that you're okay. Putting
the weight of the entire church on, like, in your mind, on your back, that seems like a lot to try to carry.
It was a lot. And sometimes it still is a lot, honestly. But at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you. Like, I could just stay in the closet anymore, and I'm sure a lot of people probably already knew. but it's just like, again, like, in my head, I was just like, God, I know how sometimes the Black community could be, especially when it comes to being gay. And luckily, I was in a situation where that didn't really occur too much. I had some people that were like, oh, I didn't know, or, oh, okay, it was a shock, But over time, they've been able to be like, hey, Carell, how are you doing? Or glad to see you when you come home, and things like that. And then luckily, just with my chosen family, been able to surround myself with Black people, Hispanics, Native Americans, all the above, that still kind of have that same energy where we're not going to be sitting here just judging other people. And it's like we came out trying to get away from that. So once we're out, how are we going to do that to other people? So luckily, I've been able to attract that energy, and that was a long ass answer. Sorry.
That's great.
And then here I go. Everybody grab your blankets. No, I'm just kidding. I do think that there is a duality specifically for people of color. There is those that grow up in their community of people that are of their same background, and when they come out, they come out within their own community and surround themselves with people in their community, and then sometimes they kind of migrate into like the broader queer community. Just use queer. But then there's the other duality of those that come out and that don't have that kind of sameness in their own community, and they come out into the broader queer community that is mostly white. And even within that duality, there's also this idea of self-loathing, self-hatred, where some people reject their own community, right? Black men, Latin men, Asian men, insert, person of color, because of this idea that some of the unfortunate parts, well, it's all unfortunate. Racism is just terrible. All the way around is just terrible. But the unfortunate parts of our community at large here in the United States, where colonialism and racism is beat so much into the psyche of who we are supposed to be and what we're supposed to aspire to, that there is that self-loathing. So in the spirit of, blackness or, of colorness, oftentimes there is an intentionality around who am I going to spend time around. And to Carell's point, he's always operated with this perspective of just being open to, like, if you're cool people, you cool people. But there are others that, haven't operated that way. I know, and speaking for myself in the spirit of vulnerability, I've operated in a sense of just kind of like self-hatred, self-loathing a little bit, and, have kind of surrounded myself with, I want to be around just the hottest guys, the most attractive people, the ones that are always doing this, that, and the other, or whatever. And I got tired of that really quick because it takes a lot of energy to keep up with the Joneses, no matter who the Joneses are. And a shift happened to like form really solid relationships. And it took a real, somebody that I met on the dance floor of a circuit party 20 years ago, high off of my kite. But I met him, my best friend Milos, and we became best friends. And I understood what real quality relationship looked like. And he's from Belgrade, Yugoslavia. So we had totally different backgrounds, but it helped me to realize that I'm chasing the wrong things. I'd rather have more of this than all of that.
That is something I did not think about, but it totally feels true of like when I first came out, and it was a couple of years later that I moved up to Seattle. I definitely spent a lot of time with gay people that were like, all we do is go out and drink together, and we'd go to like nice bars, and I'd have to like dress up to try to impress them. And I never actually talked to them outside of that. But yeah, you're totally right that there's like, it feels like this need to be like the cool, hot, hip gay that you think you're supposed to be. And then when you learn that like, that's not fun, and I don't really care anymore. I just want to hang out with people that I like. Like there was just this transition, until I was like 25, when I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. So I just won't.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, I'm not shitting on like going out and like having fun, like going to circuit parties or whatever that thing is. I'm not shitting on that. But I think for me, again, it goes back to like, what's my intention behind it? I think my intention was, I want to aspire to these things because I'm not happy with myself. And so therefore I'm surrounding myself with people that only appreciate me for what I can bring to the table and not the realness of who I am. And I think a lot of people need to have that kind of conversation, like what is it that's really feeding you? And in a spirit of chosen family, are you choosing to give yourself to people who have the capability of reciprocity? Yes, reciprocity. Ooh. Who can give it back? Okay, right?
Now.
Yeah, reciprocity.
Mine was like similar. Like
write that one down.
Is that on your checklist, Mike?
Exactly. Spell
yes,
that one.
It is.
$5 word. Great. Yeah, mine was like, all the like hot gays go to Purr on the weekend, so I should do that. So I need to find my group, like the group of gays that do that. And it was not at all about what do I want to do? It was trying to do what I thought you were supposed to do as a gay dude in Seattle.
And I think the problem of it is we grow up, like we go through our kind of formative years of kind of like self-identification and all that stuff, like much later in life. Kids nowadays who have the privilege of being able to come out at the age of 9, 10 or whatever, they get to go through that experience in a relatively safer place, much earlier. Let me say much earlier in their lives. They get to go through that through high school and college and figure that shit out before they're, buying houses and making these commitments, whereas a lot, at least in my experience, I was 22 when I kind of started going out, when I started coming out, not even to my parents. And so, I had to work through all of that stuff through the early to mid part of my 20s. And, now she's an older doll now. She's learned. She's past, she can pass these. Not vintage.
Vintage is in, boo. That's a good thing. Yes.
She just called me a doily. Okay, back to you, Kyle. Back to you, Mike.
No, I want to keep hearing this. Keep going.
The tea is real.
No, I'm saying like, vintage like Chanel and vintage Coke.
Yes.
There you go, boo. You love you some Chanel. Oh, Lord.
What do y'all usually do during Thanksgiving? Because that definitely feels like a time where you're supposed to get together with family and big extended families. Is that big for you all in non-COVID years?
Oh, man. Usually, yeah. I guess I haven't been home though for Thanksgiving in probably 7 years now. Usually it's like with my husband now, my boyfriend at the time. But usually we do have people over. Like last year we had... oh man, probably like 20 people over, 22 people over. Like Corey loves the cook and all that shit. And we just felt like everyone was kind of like, oh, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? What are you doing for? And we're like, you know what, bitch? You just want to come over. That's what, just say it. So we'll do it. So we'll throw it. But this year, I literally think it's just Corey and I. It was going to be another friend of ours, but he actually just tore his rotator cuff and literally has surgery next Wednesday. Or the day before Thanksgiving. So it's just like, man, go from like 22 one year to literally just Corey and I, which I'm still going to eat my face off. So it is what it is. But I'm a social being. Like I like being around people. I get energy from being around people, having those conversations, being stupid, being silly. So it's going to be interesting. And even just growing up, we always went over like family friends and would be like 20 people there and 25 people there. So like, this year's going to be interesting, but I just know that Duan's a text away, Jarrell's a FaceTime away, whatever. So if I do feel that energy of like, man, I'm feeling a little down right now, let me reach out to somebody. And I think that's what chosen family and just regular family as well, that's what they're there for, to reach out when you're having those moments of like, man, I'm not feeling this. And I know just on the recent episode, we were just talking about even like folks that are single and just being in quarantine and things like that. We know this is going to be a hard Thanksgiving. And so we're thinking of them. And I always say, if you want to go on an IG live, I'm here for you. Like, because I'll sit there and have a chat with you, just because it's going to be tough for a lot of people. But it's necessary for us to hopefully get around this corner and finally get some vaccines and all that good stuff to get back out on the streets with our shirts off and dancing for our lives.
Yeah, the Thanksgiving as a kid was pretty big, but as an adult, I really don't like being around my family that much. It's not that I don't like my family. I love my family. When you got 20 people with the same energy as me, it's just too much. So like, it's a lot. And there's kids all over the place and ain't nobody paying attention to the kids. And it's just a circus. And the Capricorn in me just needs a little bit more order in my life. So I don't know. I was that gay who like, I love seeing my family for like 3 hours on Thanksgiving, but I'll be at the gay bar afterwards, twirling with the girls, later. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of like a hodgepodge, but this year, I'll be cooking for just Fizz and I, and I'm cooking for like 15, 20 people, but I'm dropping off plates. So, I mean, y'all in Seattle, so if y'all want to play it, I'll be happy to just COVID, safely drop off a plate for y'all. But that's pretty much what I plan on doing. It's just cooking and then making plates for my friends.
It's like in living color. Come and get it. Ding!
I feel like 2020 is just like the year that just needs to go away. So as far as I'm concerned, and don't get me wrong, there have been a lot of really amazing things that have happened this year. But the normal notions of big gatherings for me, I live in New York. I'm in Harlem, New York. And, we were the epicenter of everything bad that was happening within this pandemic for a while. So I've been living in that ever since that started. And quite frankly, I have no desire to be around other people except for like my little quarantine crew. And have been very, very strict with that. So I had a conversation with my mom today, and she was like, okay, so what do you want to do for Thanksgiving, and what do you want to do for Christmas? I'm staying home. I will do a Zoom, but I'm not running the risk of like catching something on the way over, or, if I just happen to be one of those, folks that doesn't have any symptoms. Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to, the risk is too heavy for the people that I love, just for the sake to say that we can, break bread together. We can break bread in 2021 when we got a new president, when we got a vaccine that's out there. We can make sure that it's safe. But for right now, I'll order Taco Bell and be happy and alive.
But then be mad when they get the hot sauce in the bag. Be like, this bitch.
Damn it. I could have caught COVID instead.
There are a lot of people freaking out about no Thanksgiving this year. Like, there's going to be one next year, right? Like, it's not like this is the last Thanksgiving we're going to ever have.
Depends on how many people they're planning on having over. It may be for other people, but not for you.
It's a weird sense of love that you think you have, that you have to see them in person.
Yeah.
It's directly disregarding their health. It's like, I think you think love is a different thing than it really is.
And it's interesting. Every other year, it seems like people are complaining about Thanksgiving, all the work, and I gotta go to my family, and then this year they're like, I can't wait to go. It's like, bitch, sit your ass down.
Right.
I think one of my podcasts was talking about that, like, this is the year, like, everyone is just so annoyed to have to see their family, and you have to put up with Thanksgiving and have to deal with it. And especially like gay kids that like have to go home and maybe like pretend not to be any kind of gay. Like, this is our year off, and maybe that's a good thing.
Absolutely. That is true. It's like, you got to find the positive in it, honestly. I mean, yes, it sucks, but like, I think there was a meme that said like, don't do Thanksgiving and then have an ICU Christmas or something like that. Yeah. And it's just like, that makes sense.
That's real.
To me,
It's real. And some people you have to talk to like that, because they don't put two and two together. Again, they're focused on the wrong thing. They're focused on, I want to go, get some of my mama's sweet potato pie. Meanwhile, you done brought COVID to the party.
Yeah.
Look, I told them I'm not contributing to no one's GoFundMe. Like, you should have stayed your ass at home. I don't want to hear about you. Oh, you helping medical bills. Should have stayed at home. I gave you my free advice. Now you want my money? No. No.
It's weird. Thanksgiving has never been big for my family. It's always been my immediate family, which is just 4 of us, and my extended family always lived elsewhere. So it's never been a huge deal for me. Also, turkey tastes really gross, and I don't know why once a year we pretend like it's good, but that's another thing. Yeah. But like, it's interesting. So I've never really cared about Thanksgiving all too much.
So that's the only thing you eat, though? You don't have like the mac and cheese and the candied yams and the
the best things about Thanksgiving are things that I would eat anyway. Yeah, like mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, like
I'm bringing you a
pie,
plate. Like, I'm bringing you a plate.
Please do, Jarrell.
I am. I'm going to give you some of this soul food. I'm curious to be like, do you like this though?
I mean, his life is going to be turned around after Thanksgiving. Like, we'll see. Bitch.
And if not, then my dog can have some Thanksgiving meal too.
Hey, Mother Joe, you're right there.
You're right.
And that's the episode. Good night. See you later. That's too funny.
What about you, Mike?
What about me? Well, so are you getting Tom and Keegan, who were on our open relationships episode, they're doing this big, like, everybody's contributing and then they're splitting it up and then they're plating it and giving it out.
They sent out this big email that was like, hey, everyone that wants to join in, let me know. And I just was like, no.
Wait, say that again. What are they doing? Like, everybody has to cook something and then
Yeah, they're using their house as sort of the throughput point for all of these people contributing a bunch of food, and then they're like plating it for people based on like dietary restrictions and the stuff that got contributed, and then they're going out. It's like, I don't know, Meals on Wheels or something for gay people.
Okay. That seems like a lot of work.
I would have had to make something, which that already like is not something I usually do. And then I'd have to physically go somewhere to drop it off. Like it just was too much. I was like, yeah. So I just said,
are you guys staying at home for Thanksgiving? I know sorry, I'm asking the question. Sorry, this is the podcast coming on me. But are you guys staying home for Christmas or Thanksgiving? Or what are you cooking if you're going to stay home? I will be staying home, also single. So like no plans of anything. I think I'm going to go to the store. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I should buy something that I'm going to eat on Thanksgiving. So like, it is very much an afterthought, and I have no idea. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
I will say that I typically do Thanksgiving at my place and invite all of the gay orphans. In fact, I call it Gay Stray Turkey Day. Aww. And I'm pretty sad about that not happening this year, but also it is not happening this year.
Right.
Yeah. Figure your shit out. Wash your hands. Stay the fuck at home. Where I'm at, but my family back home, a lot of them seem to be going out of their way to do the wrong thing, and that's just white Republican conservative horse shit of like showing how patriotic they are by not wearing their mask and going to Home Depot. I just it's ridiculous, and it stresses me out. I'm not doing it. Yeah. I'm not doing anything, and I'm not going home for Christmas either. Same reason.
Well, and I don't want to shade anybody for like doing Thanksgiving and whatever, because there are certainly ways for people to get together. If you've had your COVID tests and
well,
that's what I'm saying. Like, if you've had your COVID test or whatever, and you're being responsible, then do you? Just me personally, I choose life over a meal.
Look, it's Game of Thrones. Shame. I don't want to shame.
What I heard
all day.
Duan is pro-life. That's what I heard.
Pro-life.
For sure. And always, absolutely.
Pro-choice to sit your ass down. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, Mike, is your family, like, in Eastern Washington, they usually get together? Like, are they doing the same thing they usually do?
I think so. I hope not.
Is your mom... We have a lot of fans who depend on Ma Johnson for her wisdom and advice. Is she being safe?
I don't know. I'll talk to her.
Mom.
This is what we're really talking about. My mom's health.
Look, my mom just had surgery, and I was low-key glad because she can't take her ass anymore, because my mom is the same person who'd be like, she's the oldest of 10, so she's like, we gotta go to your uncle's house, we're gonna go do this, we're gonna do this, and I'm like, ooh, she gets to stay home. That's one parent I don't have to worry about. Thank you. I'm like,
I mean, having Mike's mom on, that's one of people's favorite segments when we have her on. So purely for selfish podcast related reasons, we really need her to stick around.
Mom, the show has to go on.
We need you. The segment would be nothing without the person that the segment is based on. Something that I was thinking about, like when I'm thinking about chosen family is of course on the personal level, the personal connection and everything, but that's all great, but there's also the learning LGBTQ culture and experiences. There's something that you get from that other communities you get from your, immediate family, your actual family. So I'm curious if there's anything that you've learned about LGBT culture through your chosen family that you wouldn't have gotten had you not been with them.
I mean, these two right here taught me a lot. I'm the young one of the aunties. So, when we started, I only had one feeling. And now I'm up to 5 feelings now. I can have 5 different emotions.
She's getting emotional.
Now.
Yes.
But I don't know. I kind of like I was saying earlier just about being a gay black man. I just found that especially with knowing these two and that group that Krell and I are also that's our chosen family as well, is just there isn't necessarily a box when it comes to being a gay man, and it's okay to say, to take a little bit from that person and a little bit from this person, a little bit from this person to make up who you are, you know? And I think that's what kind of draws people to be in your chosen family, because you find a little bit of yourself in those individuals, you know? And so that's something that I learned. Yeah.
Ow, you took the words out of my mouth.
You nasty. No, I'm kidding. But you're right, though. I mean, some might go, you know.
Look, are you sure they were words?
Look. But yeah, that would be for me.
Well, I mean, it's interesting you mentioned like being the youngest of the group. I always see that, like, you know, when you're younger, being able to have people that are older that have been around, that, you know, I'm not going to learn about how to date from my parents, because they have no idea what, they barely like me, much less be able to like tell me how to date people. So like, you know, that's so valuable for younger people in the community.
I think real chosen family or real family that's like authentic gives you the ability to be more vulnerable with who you are. It allows you. And I think that's one of the things that I've learned, you know, with mine is, you know, how do I lean more into who I am authentically and how I was supposed to be, how I'm made, you know, without having to, yes, one compromises, but without compromising my integrity, without, you know, like leaning into, like trying to persuade perceptions of who I am. Like it's just given me more confidence in just being exactly who I am. That does come with age, I will say, you know, so for the young ones that are listening, it does come with age. But honestly, when you're surrounded by people who just accept you for who you are, you don't spend as much time trying to project yourself to be something that you're not.
Yeah, it's a great point. I was just going to say, like, when I look at my chosen family, whatever boundary you want to draw around that group of people, what they all have in common is that I don't feel like I'm on when I'm hanging out with them.
Right.
You just show up. You just show up and you're able to be.
Yeah,
that's true. Especially like for so long. And I mean, I think the common ground for a lot of folks in the LGBTQIA plus community is for so long you had to pretend, you know? And then you get in the gay community, the queer community, and sometimes you're still pretending because you think whatever this facade of being gay is supposed to be, you're trying to be that because that's what you saw on TV probably a lot of the times, unfortunately, and not realizing literally they are showing a smidge of what the reality is, you know? And so that's part of it, of being with your chosen family is, like you said, DeJuan, you just show up, you're just being. You're no longer pretending to be straight. You're no longer pretending to try to be this hot gay guy at the club and doing all this stuff.
I mean, I am hot. I'm not going to lie.
Yes, you are. That's right.
Goddamn. You know, like, own that shit. Right? Like,
absolutely.
We all hot.
Well, I think a lot of times there's like this stereotype that comes along of being in the gay community, especially as gay Black men. A lot of the posters, a lot of the circuit parties, a lot of everything are like white men with these certain body types. And you sometimes get caught up thinking that I need to aspire to that instead of saying, no, I need to aspire to me and being as authentic as I can be. Yeah. And then that's going to attract who's around me. And then you're going to be way happier that way than trying to do something that's not you. If that's you, if you got the body, you better Megan Thee Stallion it and body, it.
And show it and then take pictures and send them to me.
I'm here for it. Me too. You can find us at AYA@minorityReport.com.
I mean...
But it's just like just having that chosen family that like they see you're good, they see you're bad, and also there might be times that they get on your fucking nerves too. But that's all part of being a family and growing together and going through life together, and that's the fun part, honestly.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, Carell, you said something there that really kind of like stuck out to me when you said like, you know, when you're your authentic self, like you attract other people. To me, that is like the sexiest thing like ever in a person. Like, you get these goodies a lot faster being just 100% real than you would trying to pretend that you want to be something to get these goodies. No.
And that's a bold statement because she does not have a large body count.
26 people. That's a very little number.
Bitch, there's probably times 26 in a week, but
on an episode we talked about our numbers and my number is 26 and they clown me because no, total.
Bitch,
like that's
an entire life.
Entire life.
And DeJuan and I were like, oh, Jesus.
The fact that you can count
that part.
Right. I literally cannot
someone
count. I have no
Someone
idea.
could show up today and say, Carell, we had sex in 2009. I'm like, oh, we did? Damn.
Oh, well,
My bad.
To be
I
fair,
remember,
also
I
shade
remember all the
myself.
people that I've had sex with, but
I don't know all the names. I will be able to the face and other body
And
parts.
the angles, you gotta look at the angles too. You gotta be like, okay, yeah, I remember you from that way.
That angle.
You know.
Well, Drew, I'm on your side. I started a spreadsheet, and there's not a lot of entries on it. So,
See?
like,
Boom.
I
But you know
can't
that's
even
just
remember.
boo. Do you?
I don't think I could even remember like faces. I don't think.
Probably. Ugh.
It's easiest for me to talk about orders of magnitude than to try and think of a specific number.
I will say that and I'm going to shame myself, but I'm one of those people who, like, when I was single and I was on the apps, like, in the midst of, like, text and be like, oh, we should do this, we should meet up, we should do this. I probably already jacked off, and then once I'm done, I'm dead. So I'm like, ghost. And so I never end up meeting up with people. So I was that bad person who'd be like, oh, this bitch. Block.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So that's kind of another reason my number is so low. I was not really good at that.
Well, I mean, and that's nothing to be ashamed about either. Like, if that's you, that's you. Boom.
Yeah.
But, whew, yeah. I'll shut up now.
How we got here? Yeah, how did we get here?
We need to have a whole other. We need to have a whole other podcast just on this topic because
Just on body count.
Right, exactly.
You're chosen, and that's another chosen family, though. Honestly,
It
there
is.
might be people that you have continual relationships with that, and that's fine.
That
It
have
is what
dipped
it
into
is.
their family pool once or twice.
Yes,
so
yes,
gross.
and
So
empty that
gross.
family pool too.
So gross.
Yes.
Oh my God.
is this a DNA joke? Are you making a DNA joke?
I have no clue. Yes,
Oh, in my head, it was a pile of sperm, but I don't know
yeah,
if that's
that's
what
what's in
we're.
my head, but that's DNA as well. So yes.
Yes. I didn't know how explicit we were going to get about directly saying
Oh
it,
man, I'm sorry, guys.
but no, I want to swim in a swimming pool of cum.
Oh.
I would not
Anyway,
that.
I'm not mad at it.
Family is great.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh Lord.
What were we talking about? Milking dads? I think that's how we got there. It was Dan's fault.
Yeah.
We usually blame
Dan.
things. That's
Yeah.
another good thing about
That's-
having
yeah.
Dan, because we can just blame things on him.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
We got all red.
So, did we do it? Everybody has a chosen family now and is wonderful.
Oh.
And
If you listener at home doesn't have a chosen family, we can be yours, at least for the
Yes.
day.
Absolutely.
Totally. 100%.
Absolutely.
I'm here.
There's no need to feel alone. Like, honestly, like, reach out. Like, we're literally telling you, like, if you are alone, find one of
Hit
us
us
on
up, for
Instagram
sure.
or Twitter or whatever,
Yeah.
because we've all had moments in our lives that we felt alone, so it's not a good feeling. So it's just like, we don't want you, especially this year where it's already been a crazy ass year. You know, reach out. It's okay to reach out and ask for help and things like that.
And quite frankly, it doesn't have to be something so so esoteric and so like life changing. If you are watching a TV show that you're just like, I am so into Star Trek Discovery, bitch, I am there too. So we can talk all day, every day about everything about that TV show. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be about crises. It can just be, I'm reaching out because you know what? I saw you had this post and I really like this too. And I thought I'd just reach out. Like, that's cool too. Like, everything doesn't always have to be about crisis. It doesn't have to be life-changing. It doesn't always have to be about sex. You know, we are more than monolithic individuals. We're not just one thing. And so, you know, I think being authentic and showing like our listeners and the people that we interact with who you are authentically in whatever facet that is, from the food that you eat to the shows that you watch to the clothes that you wear to the people that you surround yourselves with, the way that you think. These are all ways that people have opportunities to connect with you, and that's all that we're saying.
Yeah, totally.
it was my birthday last weekend, and I made Kyle watch the Star Trek Discovery episode with Adira and Gray. And he did because it was my birthday, and that's what chosen family does.
That's what you do, Kyle. Did you enjoy it, Kyle?
You got some good gifts, though.
It
That
was,
was dope.
you know, it was definitely a show that started and ended. So that was fine.
Oh gosh! So,
Great.
should we
Okay,
take a
Michael,
break?
you can hit me up with the Star Trek stuff because
There you
I'm all in it.
Thank you.
I will feed that part of your ego.
Excellent.
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
Break.
Mike and Callan taking a break. Or whatever that was. Mike and Callan taking a break.
So, are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
We're going to do our gayest and straightest.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest, but first, Minority Report. Carell, tell us where we can find everything about you guys, what you're up to, your social, your lives, everything.
You can find out about our life on the podcast because we share everything. So Minority Report, wherever you stream podcasts. And we're also on YouTube. So really subscribe there if you really want to see everything because we're an animated group. But social media, Minority, like your sipping tea report. That's on Facebook. That's on IG, Twitter. Someone tried to snag the name. So we're MT Report on there. And you can also find us on TikTok. I get my TikTok live as well. So
You will only see Carell on TikTok.
You only see her.
You only see me because they're like,
We are not
no.
doing that.
No.
But YouTube is where we're really focusing a lot right now. So yeah, find us on YouTube. You'll really get to see us there.
Nice. Well, you can find us on our website at gayishpodcast.com.
All of our social, excluding TikTok, is at Gayish Podcast. We don't do that because I don't know how.
Saying.
Our
teach you,
hotline, you
Kyle.
can send us text messages or leave us voicemails is 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109. Also, apparently, we this week we spoke to the University of Central Florida medical students, the Queer Medical Student Association.
Yeah.
So that means we do speaking engagements now. So if you're interested in having us say our bullshit in front of your group, you can send us an email.
It was weird to what am I going to tell a potential doctor that is, do you really want to hear my dick and butt jokes? That's fine. But,
Yes.
I just told them about all the STIs I got. That's the intersection of doctors and sex. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for inviting us and chatting with us.
And this week I am a guest on the Oh Hey podcast about gaming. So you can check those guys out and their episode about gaming this week. Okay.
Michael, I love your voice, by the way.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
great. I'm like, oh, gaming.
Oh.
Kyle, I like your voice.
Thank you. I was waiting.
That was rude. That was rude just to say, Mike, I'm sorry.
Dan,
I
I'm
love
liking
your-
everything.
Everything. Milk me, daddy. Milk me.
There's one of us for each of you. Look at that.
Wait, but you're all taken.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you don't know my life.
Okay.
We're in a
okay.
pandemic.
As always, the 4 R's: rate, review, subscribe, and recommend. It really helps us out a ton. Time for our Gayest and Straightest.
Yeah,
Kyle, do you want to go first? You're first on the grid.
sure.
I'll just go through the grid.
Great. Okay. My straightest is I am the mug I drink in the morning. I feel like sets the tone for my day, and it depends on what I'm feeling. Today was a straighter day, so that's why I have my college University of Texas mug that I've been drinking out of. Like that or my mug feel a little bit straighter. My Ruth Bader Ginsburg mugs are when I'm feeling a little bit gayer.
Yes.
Dan is showing us his. Dan has his I'd rather be fucking Dan available at the Gayish merch store. My gayest is it was recently the Trans Day of Remembrance, and Biden and Harris both posted about it. And I think the gayest thing about me is I was like, okay, those are good words, but you gotta hold up to it. A lot of people would just see that and be like, cool, but those words are not enough for me. So we're gonna have to hold them to more than just tweeting about it.
Agreed.
Indeed. Jarrell, you're next on my list.
Oh, me. Yeah. Let's see. My straightest. I've been shopping for like underwear, and I thought about buying boxers, trying the old boxer thing again, which just reminds me of before I came out. And I don't know, and then I thought about my penis falling out of it, and I just ran away from the idea. So I aborted that mission. My gayest thing is I looked at some more butt plugs and some toys. So that was probably the gayest thing I did this week. So
There you go.
yeah, that was really yesterday, actually. So yeah.
In the underwear department, if you want extra straight points, you can go for like Fruit of the Loom.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah.
That's literally what went to my mind when I thought about the junk falling out. I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Wait, were they like not the briefs? They were like the
used-
loosey goosey boxers.
I used to wear the loosey goosey boxers,
Yeah,
and I just
roll
remember
up your leg
just
and up your
Yeah.
No,
and
well,
then you
see,
get
I
those
was too
creases
skinny.
all on your upper thigh, and pass.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty straight. That's pretty straight.
yeah.
Corell, you are next.
Oh man, let's see here. Straightish, because gayish is last. Yes, it's the best for last. Straightish, probably watching the Gucci and Young Jeezy versus on IG. That's pretty damn straight with all those masculine, probably a lot of toxic masculinity in one room watching that.
Wait, okay. I don't know what you just
I didn't
said.
know what you just said either.
So okay, let's back it up. Beginning of COVID, quarantine, Timbaland, you know
Brief
Timbaland,
story.
like with
Brief
Missy
story.
Yeah.
and Swiss Beats, another producer, started doing these IG chats where they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna play my favorite records that I produced, and I'm gonna play that." It's grown, so now there was like Brandy versus Monica, Patti LaBelle versus Gladys Knight, etc. This week it was Gucci Mane, who's a rapper, and Young Jeezy, who's a rapper, and both of them from Atlanta, who have a crazy history where literally one rapper shot another rapper's friend and killed them, and so they have had beef for literally 15 years. So it was very monumental for them to be in the same room doing a verses of their catalog of music, and they literally extended an olive branch at the end. And they had a hit record at the beginning of their career together and performed it for the first time in like 17 years or something crazy. Yeah. Wow. So it was crazy. It was tense. It was wild. But at the end, it came together. So it was very good for the rap community and the hip hop culture and things like that. So yes.
That's awesome.
I now understand most of the words you said.
I got your backs. The gayest, let me think, besides probably like dancing to Megan Thee Stallion all fucking day. Like Jarrell, yesterday, Nasty Pig is having a warehouse sale right now. So I bought a Nasty Pig crop top. And a lot of it was gone already. And then a singlet. I bought a singlet. It's my first singlet. I'm looking forward to wear that. I think singlets are kind of hot. So we'll see.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's pretty gay.
Yeah.
All right, Dewan.
My straight-ish thing for about perhaps 2 weeks straight, I had been eating ice cream, and there are certain foods that I keep in a house that I don't keep in a house because I'm just voracious with it. And I've been eating ice cream basically for 2 weeks straight. The gayest thing is
what were you watching
myself
when you were eating the ice cream?
It didn't matter. It literally didn't matter. I was there were like these pints of this one flavored ice cream, and I bought them in like triplicate, and I was just like going through it. And my gayish thing is on the flip side of that coin, I weighed myself and I gained 10 pounds. So I haven't had ice cream in 3 days, and I won't be having it for probably the next 6 months.
I very much relate to this. Absolutely.
And I'm going last because I get to do that. My straightest thing about me this week is that I use Head and Shoulders shampoo. I don't have any fancy ass shampoo or conditioner or anything like that. I just have a giant Costco pump bottle of Head and Shoulders in my shower.
Go to the store and get
too.
What's the biggest, cheapest shampoo I can buy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of my life choices are just what's available at Costco.
Yeah, I see
one-stop shop. The gayest thing about me this week, I had a emergency crown on Monday, and they have to like 3D scan your tooth so that when they get the permanent crown made, it's the exact right fit. But she's like, "You're gonna have to open really wide for this camera," and I thought, "Oh, girl, I got this."
Show us that again.
Not my first rodeo.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's it.
Thank you to our super gap bridgers, Cian Hayes and Scanders. We appreciate you for both your hearts, your openness, but mostly your money.
And thank you to these guys from Minority Report. Thank you so much, Aunties. We really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thanks
for having us on. Yeah, this was a blast.
From the Cian Hayes studio, this has been Gayish. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. Stay home, motherfuckers.
Yeah. See you next week, except I won't, because you're going to be fucking home.
That part.
Yeah, whatever you want to plug, that's something to say to gay guys. Sure.
Right. It's like, be specific, Mike.
Oh, I made myself turn red. That's great.
Right.